All right. Hello. My name's Anika. This is Samantha.
Hey.
This is the training for Superman Needs You, which is the event on October 15th in Alachua. All right. So we're just going to pull up the presentation. All right. So this is the event Superman Needs You. So we were originally going to do an icebreaker, but something just to think about. Keep in mind for the rest of this presentation. So who's your favorite superhero? For me, big fan of the Avengers. Samantha?
My favorite superhero is Deadpool. Technically not a superhero, but that's okay.
Yeah. So since this event is superhero themed, something like, fun to keep in mind, something to keep in mind for Saturday. All right, so this is an event that's being put on by Children Beyond Our Borders. So CWOB is an educational nonprofit organization that was founded in 2013 with the passion and personal experience of dedicated students at the University of Florida, felt inspired to give back to their homeland, Colombia. And so our mission is to provide opportunities for children and youth affected by armed conflict and social injustice to find peace, prosperity, and well-being through education and empowerment. Children Within Our Borders is a part of Children Beyond Our Borders. It is one of their programs, one of their 5 programs. So the mission of Children Beyond Our Borders is to provide an opportunity for at-risk youth and children Beyond Our Borders local communities that will support and motivate them to further their education. Through education, empowerment, and support of our community, we inspire children to thrive to the best of their abilities by creating workshops that stimulate self-esteem, interest, curiosity, and innovation, provide tutoring services, and teaching sustainable life skills. So this is one of CWOB's events. Okay, so general information. It's really important that we arrive at Norman Parking Garage at 10 a.m. It's really important to go to Norman Garage and not this address. This is the address we'll be going to after we meet at Norman Garage, but it's really important to go to Norman Garage 10 a.m. Please do not be late because we do run a little bit of a tight schedule. So the event is from 10 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. So 10 a.m. we'll arrive at Norman Garage, hopefully leave very soon, be at this address by 10:30 because 10:30 from 11 we're doing setup. And the actual event will run from 11 to 2, and then we'll have cleanup afterwards. Let's see. So the event breakdown is from 10:30 to 11. We'll have setup from 11 to 12:15. We'll have the first segment of the day, and then we'll have lunch. And then from 12:45 to 2, we'll have the second segment. And then from 2 to 2:30 will be a cleanup. Hopefully it will not take that long, but just a little safe space right there. And so this is the address that we'll be going to after we meet at Norman Garage. Of course, meeting at Norman Garage first, very important. It's about 20 minutes away, so that's why we were leaving a little bit early. If you have any questions, is our contact information. Right here is our email. We're super reachable on email, but if you prefer text, this is a phone number you can text. It is my phone number, Anika. Feel free to text or call me. As far as carpooling is concerned, Shayna will be doing the first car, and she'll be driving Jessica and Lauren. Put your phone numbers here. Please do not be late because Shayna will not be able to leave without you guys. But if you are more than 10 minutes late, she will leave. But if you are running late, just send us a text or something so we know you're on your way and you you haven't died. So
Right, and if for some reason Anika's phone is not working, can I just even like write it in?
Yeah, we will send you a second
Yeah.
email too.
My phone number, if you just hear it right now, is 772-341-9461.
And we'll be sending you all of this in an email too as well. So look out for the email. It'll have this presentation, the carpooling information, a little bit more information about us, and the in-depth curriculum that you can read as well. So the first workshop is Find Your Superpower. So the objectives is to define characteristics of superheroes, identify what qualities they use to help people, identify which qualities they believe embodies them best and why, learn the qualities that make someone a superhero, identify the superhero qualities in themselves. So this is kind of an introduction to the whole superhero theme, and hopefully it will help the kids realize how they are also superheroes in themselves. So the first activity is we're going to show them pictures of super famous superheroes, so like Superman, Iron Man, superheroes like that, and we're going to have the kids pick their favorites and explain why. So hopefully they'll be like, I like this superhero because he's like really smart or something like that, or he, is a great leader or something, and hopefully it'll lead them to, or lead us to, these 5 characteristics, which are helper, peacemaker, courage or courageous, selflessness, and a leader. So these are the 5 characteristics that we feel embodies all the superheroes that are superheroes, and that the kids will learn throughout the rest of this activities.
Yeah, and this is a really good prereq. This is a really good prereq for basically the workshop that is going to come after this, which is an anti-bullying workshop. So, yeah.
And the second activity, they'll be filling out this worksheet right here, so we'll hand that out to them. So when it says my goal for blank is blank, so hopefully that'll be something related to this activity, so it shouldn't be like, my goal for school is to get all A's, because as much as that is great, it doesn't really pertain to this, so it should be like my goal for helping the community is to do this, that type of thing, something that is more prevalent to this conversation. And then hopefully they'll be able to fill out the rest of the worksheet. Obviously, if they need help them on the way. But if they do get stuck, they can use these 5 characteristics right here: helper, peacemaker, courage, and selflessness, leader. Selflessness and a leader. So their goal can be like, become a better leader and something like that. Great. So this is the second part. So this is where they're going to design their own superheroes that they will embody. So so the objective is to provide them a creative way to identify their superheroes, provide kids with the opportunity to become their own superheroes, allow the kids to creatively express their superhero qualities. So basically, we're going to split the kids up into small groups, and the volunteers will be the leaders of those groups, and give the kids an opportunity to pick their superhero names and a superpower. So the superpower can be like, invisibility, but it should also be they can have as many superpowers as they want, but it should also be something like, one of the 5 characteristics that we discussed in the previous slide. And then have them write a short story, if they want, about, how they use a superpower, or maybe like a background story, something like that. Something very quick, so that when they come back into the group, they can have something to share. And then the fun part is, well, this is all fun, but the fun part is they're going to be designing their own masks. So this is what the masks look like. Okay, so there's a few different designs, but like general idea, it's white, and they're just gonna color it, do whatever they want to it, and then they're gonna put it on. So when they have this mask on, and then they have, I guess it goes like this, but they have this mask on, and then they have their superhero names. We will be giving them name tags, and then they will, from the rest of from that point on in the workshop, they're officially superheroes. So, they're officially superheroes. So please call them their superhero names. Keep the ambiance. But yeah, so that's the first part of the workshop. So now we move on to, so this is where we'll stop and we'll have lunch. And then we'll move on to the second part of the workshop.
All right, so the second part of the workshop is basically called Superhero in Training. And now that the kids have, now that the kids have their superhero names, they can now begin to learn what it means to be a superhero. Basically, they're basically going to be like superhero interns to Superman. So we're training them to learn what it takes to be a superhero, and what it takes to be a superhero primarily is to prevent bullying. And so that's what this whole workshop is going to be about. The breakdowns of the stations is basically the objective and purpose and lesson is learn exactly what a bully is, learn what a bystander is, which is basically someone that sees bullying and doesn't do anything, and then learn what to do if, and the 5 stations are bullied, see someone being bullied, see your friends bullying someone, if you are the bully, and want to prevent bullying. So basically how it's going to work is there's going to be a warm-up. This is going to be 5 minutes, and you're going to basically have them, you're going to ask them what makes a hero and what makes a bully. And the answers you're going to want to lead them to. You're not going to answer the question yourself. You're going to lead them to the answer is what makes a hero is someone that doesn't allow bullying to happen, someone who stops bullying, someone who fights against bullies. What makes a bully is basically, someone that is mean, someone that belittles someone else, someone that takes power away from someone else. The transition now is we're going to explain the bullies exist, and the kids are now superheroes in training. 5 stations happening at the same time with different candies, but depending on how it works out, we might end up actually having all the stations happening one by one with the volunteers doing every single one. So instead of basically classes we're going to do one big station, but it just depends. The stations will switch around every 12 minutes, so you're going to want to stretch the activities out for 12 minutes. And then the final reflection is just what have we learned, and you're going to want them to basically answer pretty short answers what they learned in each station. You're not going to answer the question, as I said, for them. You're going to have them answer it themselves. So station 1 is what do you do if you get bullied? You're going to teach the kids that they need to create basically a shield of love around themselves when they are bullied. It's going to be kind of like a supersonic shield. Tell the bully, basically the first step is to tell the bully what they did hurt you. So try to communicate with the bully, right? And if the communication doesn't work, then you got to let a teacher or administrator know. And you got to explain, this isn't so much them tattletaling. This is basically making sure that no one else in the future gets bullied. So basically this activity is going to have each kid pick one thing that they love most about themselves and shouting it as loud as they can to create a supersonic shield. And you can even have them list multiple things, but you want them to get to at least one. And at the end of this little activity, you're going to have the volunteers pass out a Snickers to each kid. So basically with the supersonic shield, don't only just say like, well, what do you love about yourself? Kind of have them explain why they love that thing about themselves. What makes them great, what makes them awesome. So yeah. Station 2 is what do you do if you see someone else getting bullied? So basically just explain to them, oh, and as I said, don't outright explain these things to them. Don't give them the answers right away. Try to lead them to the answers. Give them clues, So when someone else is being bullied, you got to help them. And then be kind to the person who was bullied. So be kind to that person whether or not you stopped the bullying from happening, right? So try to defend them against the bully. Try to have the bully understand. Again, try to communicate to the bully, this isn't right, what you're doing. But again, if that doesn't work, or even if it does work, be kind to the person who was being bullied. Try to make friends. Instructions. I'm going to pass out basically to you guys. We're going to have multicolored paper, and we're going to have the kids draw a star to represent themselves. And this can be a regular 5-pointed star. It can be a creative, crazy star. It doesn't really matter as long as they think it represents themselves. And then after this, the volunteers are going to pass out a Milky Way to each kid. Oh, and I didn't explain this, but the candies that we're passing out is basically because this is a Halloween event, so it's kind of like trick-or-treating. So station 3 is, what do you do if your friends bully other people? You're basically going to have them tell their friend that you believe that they believe that the person that is their friend is being a bully and should stop being a bully. Explain why they're being a bully, right? If they listen to you, then they're a true friend. If they ignore you, then they are not a good friend to be around. So this is a game of basically pin the gem on the villain, where the whole idea is that everyone has a gem in their heart, and sometimes the gem can turn bad. So you're basically taking your friend, which is the Joker, and you're placing a gem. They're gonna be blindfolded, and they're gonna place a gem in the area of their chest where their heart might be. It's gonna be a big poster. And at the end of this, the volunteers pass out a Twix to each kid. So what do you do if you are the bully? That's the 4th station. And basically explain to them that everyone makes mistakes, but the whole idea is that you don't want to keep bullying and you want to apologize. And it has to be kind of like, a true apology. So I know what I did was wrong and I won't do it again. Right? And basically also kind of explain to them that there's a difference between being sassy and being a bully. So a lot of times people, especially kids, don't understand that they're being a bully. So explain that if they're being sassy, it's fine, but if they're starting to be mean to people, that's not sassy, that's being a bully. So basically the instructions for this is a volunteer appears saying that he is a villain. It can be a popular DC or Marvel villain. If you want, it can also just be a villain that you make up yourself. You explain how you are being mean to the citizens of Gainesville, but don't outright say you're being mean. Explain the things that you're doing, right? And lead them to the idea that what you're doing is mean. Have the volunteer get the kids to comment that what she is doing is not right, and lead them to the idea of then apologizing. After the kids understand what it means to apologize and how to apologize, the villain then thanks them and promises to be better. And at the end of this, the volunteers pass out an M&Ms to each kid. And then station 5, how do you prevent bullying? So this is kind of a reiteration of what we already went over, but like a solidification of it. So reach out and make friends with the newer lonely kids, not just if they have been bullied, but also just if they're new. The first day, if you see someone lonely, reach out to them, try to be friends. Always be kind and helpful to everyone, and don't let anyone be unfair to anyone else. So the instructions for this is basically hand out a paper to each kid it's basically going to be a mantra of like how to prevent bullying, how to be a real superhero. At the bottom of the paper is going to be a picture of Superman. The kids are going to get to draw themselves as his sidekick with the letter M on themselves for mighty. And the volunteers are then going to pass out a 3 Musketeers to each kid.
All right, so that's basically the training. I will be sending this in an email this week, actually tomorrow, which is Thursday, by the way. It also have the carpooling stuff that we talked about. And a full in-depth curriculum that has all of the stuff that we just went through in greater detail, and has more reflection questions that you should read before coming on Saturday. So a few things to remember. Please be at Norman Garage by 10 a.m., no later, please. It's really important that we stick to the schedule. If you have any questions, please email or text the numbers that are provided. It's a good idea before just to reach out to whoever's going to carpool you, just to make sure that they know that you're going to be there and things like that. Read through the curriculum one more time. It's really important. If you can, please bring a printed copy with you. Other than that,
That's pretty much it.
All right. I'll see you guys Saturday. Thank you.
Thank you.